What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Paul George says he isn't taking any days off. He spoke about this on the site that I looked at. I always check out Clipperholics and Fanside, a few other sites I checked out. He spoke on that about, how his season ended in regards to, just the season itself, when he missed like the 40-something games, I think, or give or take, after his UCL injury happened. And then, of course, he made a return and it didn't go out. It didn't happen the way he wanted to. You see what I'm saying? They go out in the play-in tournament. They didn't even get a chance to actually make it to the actual playoffs like they envisioned. They got Paul George back. They lost the first game in Minnesota, which was a heartbreaking loss to me because I wanted them to beat Minnesota and Patrick Beverley. But they didn't. Patrick Beverley celebrated, and the Clippers didn't. And they had to move on to the next game, and we all know what happened there. Paul George gets COVID somehow, whatever the case may be. And, he didn't even play against the Pelicans. And, the Pelicans, they found a way to escape with a victory. And they moved on to the first round, played the Phoenix Suns. And, the rest is history. And, going by that trajectory, or should I say going by that right there, that projection right there, you have to ask yourself, if you're Paul George, did it pan out or end the way you wanted it to? And honestly, I'm pretty sure Paul George, along with the comments and everything that he's made already, thinking in his mind, heck no, it didn't end the way I wanted to. I mean, I wanted it to, of course, end with us winning the championship, of course, but at the same time, he didn't even finish his whole season. He was having a pretty good season, as well. The Clippers were doing fairly well. They had lost some games during the season I thought they should have won. But, I mean, you could say that about any team, anybody. That's not really nothing to harp over too much. But, I mean, Paul George played pretty good last season. I think, he'll play good next season. I mean, really, the thing with players like PG and stuff like that, you expect them to play good when the season comes around. You expect Paul George to be, one of the top scorers in the league, or, something like that. I mean, you just expect that. My thing always with Paul George is, I've always said, I expect Paul George to be the exact same in the playoffs. Now, the last time we saw him in the playoffs, he did play fairly well. I'm not going to sit there and say he didn't. He definitely could have been a little bit more efficient. But at this point, I just think Paul George is not an efficient guy. I think Paul George is the type of guy, who will give you 30 points, but it won't be efficient consistently. And that's just who he is. Sometimes you got to accept players for who they are and don't really look elsewhere, because that's all they're going to give you. And that's all I expect out of Paul George, just like anybody else should, because that's all he's pretty much going to give. He can put up points with the best of them, but don't ever expect him to be consistently with the efficiency of his shooting. And I think that's what, holds him back, at times from being an even better player than what he is. So, there, like I said, the reports are out, that he's not taking any days off. He's working hard as he can, to come back next season and be a better version of himself. And that's definitely what you want to hear. Like, if you're a Clippers fan, you definitely want to hear that from players like him, Kawhi, stuff like that, because, you definitely want to be a better version of the last time people saw you, because it's all about updating your resume in the NBA. And, like I said, Paul George is having a pretty good season, last year up until his UCL injury. I personally think that, as much time as he missed, I personally think that, he should have maybe got the surgery and got it done and over with. This way he can go into this year and not even really worry about it at all, because it wouldn't even be a factor. There again, because he didn't get the surgery, I mean, there can be some lingering effects, and that's not something you want to hear as a Clippers fan. That's not something that you want to happen, if you're a Paul George fan. But I mean, you have to be wary of that, because he didn't get the surgery. He just relaxed and took it easy and rested a lot, and just it got well on its own. And, hopefully it doesn't flare up anymore if he takes any, hard hits, which he will definitely do that during the season because, definitely the guys definitely focus on your injuries. They try to, take cheap shots and things like that. So I definitely hope that doesn't happen, to him or anything like that, or Kawhi Leonard, my favorite player in Kawhi. But, you those things can happen and things like that. And, I hope he plays stress-free, just like Kawhi. I hope both of them play stress-free because honestly, next year is championship next year. And next season is championship for them. And that's the way they got to look at it. And that's the way they got to approach it. We need both of them, Kawhi and PG, to be as healthy as possible. The NBA world needs them both to be healthy. Because, honestly, when you look at the playoffs, I don't care if you're a Clippers fan, Lakers fan, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, Warriors, whatever. It doesn't matter what fan you are. You still want to see the best of the best competition out there. And you still want to see everybody healthy so you could really actually make a determination who is the best players, who ranks better in your mind than this one, that one. It's hard to really rank players and do all that type stuff when players are just a player that you like or a player that if one of the top players are injured or they're out or stuff like that. It just makes it hard to rank them. It makes it hard to see, who's the better team. All that plays a factor. And this is why I said, there's no way the Pelicans, I'm not going to say it's no way because the Pelicans, they're a pretty decent team, but I wouldn't think that they would have beat the Clippers if the Clippers had Paul George. But then again, who knows? A lot of people think Paul George chokes away a lot of games and a lot of opportunities, playoff, way off P, whatever. I think he kind of erased that, to me. But, I know there's still some doubters out there in Paul George, and I'm pretty sure they would have loved to see Paul George play that game and see him and the Clippers lose so they can sit there and make more memes about him. So, it could be a blessing in disguise that he didn't play because if they did lose that game, Paul George mental will really go under then. So, I wish he would have played, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. He didn't. There's no need harping on that because it's not going to do anything at this point. I just hope that, going to next season, Kawhi along with PG, I hope them two are healthy, because them two being healthy, they can make up for all the other players, or other players on the team if they go down and they're unhealthy for a while. See, if you lose Luke Kennard for a while, Terrence Mann, yeah, okay, you can make up for players like that because you got Kawhi and PG on the floor. Your main two guys got to be there. And specifically your main guy, Kawhi Leonard, he has got to be there. And I'm pretty sure he's working and not taking any days off either. Kawhi is a hard worker. And just to hear Paul George say he's not taking any days off himself, he's working, I feel like, Kawhi is definitely, getting to him as well. Kawhi's message is getting to all his players, all his teammates around him, because he just rubs off on players that way because of his greatness and, how he approaches the game. And, you also hear reports about like Terrence Mann saying when he comes back from Italy, he can't wait to work out with Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, that type of energy Kawhi has and that determination, that work ethic, and, that the way he goes about doing his business is contagious, you know what I'm saying? So players definitely want to work with Kawhi and definitely, pick his mind and his brain to see what it's like to take it to that next level. And Paul George is definitely one of them players. I'm pretty sure he looks at Kawhi kind of like sort of like a big brother in that way because he's won championships. He know what it's like. And people everybody just saw Kawhi win a championship a few years ago with Toronto. So, it's like you've seen him elevate in situations that didn't even look promising because nobody thought he was winning a championship with Toronto. And if they did, they damn sure didn't think of the first year being with Toronto. That was like an all-time great. That probably actually made him a top 75 player doing that along with that crazy shot he made in the corner over Joel Embiid. But, this is the thing, just hearing that Paul George is just working, wants to keep at it, not taking no days off. Other players, it's going to rub off on them, because PG is doing it, because, Kawhi is doing it. Everybody has that contagious feel, and that's what you want to hear. That's the type of stuff that you want to see if you're a Clippers fan, because you want to see them put in that work and you want to hear that they're putting in that work and they're working hard towards a goal of next year that maybe some think that they can accomplish and many don't, which is win a championship. I definitely think they can, so we'll see how it pans out. But like I said, it's good to hear encouraging things like that. I can't wait to see what this team looks like next year. I can't wait to see what everybody looks like next year, to be honest with you, because I know the NBA season is coming to an end. The finals about almost over. Only got about 4 more games left. so 4 or less, I believe. So, I definitely want to see how everybody comes out next year. Definitely anticipating next season. I can't wait until it gets here. And I definitely want to keep an eye on this team, of course, because like I said, this team has got a lot of good things going with it. And I definitely think they should be number one in contenderism to winning the championship, because I think that they have the most depth of any other team in the league. And like I said, to hear that they're working and they're just, they're just grinding quietly and doing what they got to do and being under the radar, because the Lakers are always the forefront, right? So let them be in the forefront and let the Clippers do all the hard work. You know what I'm saying? Let the Lakers talk, let the Clippers do the work. You see what I'm saying? The Clippers do the work. Something good is going to come out of next season, but we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.